Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis Whitt. I'm the city manager for the city of Wall Lake. This is our first live stream planning commission meeting. We're a hybrid meeting. It will be live streamed on YouTube. We have several members here. We have a light agenda, but we are on live, and you need to be aware of that. Before we go further and I give it back to the chairman or give it to the chairman, I would like to introduce my staff who's assisting in the meeting, my city clerk, Jennifer Stewart. Jennifer is a graduate of Detroit Mercy. She also additionally she holds her master's degree in public administration. Next to her is the managing director of the DDA, who's serving as a recording secretary. She's a graduate of Wayne State. She also additionally holds a master's degree in public administration. I'm going to let the city clerk introduce the councilman, but I'm going to also let our consulting planner introduce himself and his company, so you know who we're working for. Mario, could you do the favor for us there?
Yes, good evening. My name is Mario Ortega. I'm a city planner with the firm McKenna, and I'm here to advise the city on all planning and zoning issues.
We have some dignitaries in the audience, but I'm going to have my city clerk do that because I don't want to miss anybody that's on Zoom, and I can't see those as clear as you can on your screen. So please introduce members of... Yes, and also I've already touched on Mr. O'Rourke, but we can introduce him again, and who's in the audience too. So.
Very good, very good. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Stewart, city clerk. So this evening in person, we have council member John Osnick with us, and also board member to the Planning Commission, and board member Dennis O'Rourke with us in person. We also have council members in our audience, Casey R. Ambrose, and I believe that is all I'm seeing there. We also have attendees online with us this evening, council member Woods, and we also have another board member, zoning board, and DDA member Jason Easter with us this evening.
Do we not have a couple more board
Yes.
members? Okay.
We also have Chairman Neil Wolfson of the Planning Commission online with us as well, and also Mr. Ron McComas, Planning Commission member. Our city attorney is also present. Our assistant city manager, Mrs. Pesta, is also present. And that is it for the moment.
Well, with that, I think we've done our introductions. I'll let the chairman carry it from there. I think we probably need to get an introduction from those people in the audience, the applicants and stuff like that. But I'm hoping that was a little bit useful, so you know who's up here that you'll be talking to. It's pretty important. So, Mr. Wolfson, I'm stepping back, and you're now in charge of the meeting.
Thank you very much. Okay, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Chelsea, do we have a quorum, I think?
Yes, Chair, I can take roll.
Take a roll call, please.
Novak, O'Rourke,
Here.
Osnick,
Here.
Palmer, Witt,
Here.
Wolfson,
Here.
McComas.
Here.
Chairman Wolfson, we have a quorum tonight.
Very good. Do we have a request for any agenda changes? Okay, none. I'd like to have a resolution or for the approval of the minutes of September 14, 2021.
O'Rourke will make a motion to approve the minutes of September 14, 2021.
Osnick will support.
Okay, get a roll call vote.
Novak, O'Rourke,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Palmer, Witt,
Yes.
Wolfson,
Yes,
McComas.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
very good, thank you. Okay, this time I'd like to open up for audience participation. If anybody has raised their hand, so we can select who's there.
Mr. Chairman, there is nobody at this moment virtual that has raised their hand.
Okay,
We have an in-person audience member who may want to speak.
anybody in the audience?
Anybody in the audience for audience participation? Okay, please come up to the podium and state your name.
My name is Chris Kanaya. Am I good? So I'm working with Orchard Grove on the 850 LAD. It's a 53,000 square foot building with like 12 acres. We're working on a pretty massive, we're potentially working on a massive project, but it's cannabis. The goal is to turn the entire building into a cultivation and processing, and a new construction build near where that water tower is. I've gotten feedback from the broker and Pastor Chris about the water tower, and it's been like this ongoing scenario with the city and the way it looks, and I've been able to put capital together to take care of the water tower scenario, whether that be paint it, remove it, whatever. The project, this would end up being a 8-figure project, and something like the water tower isn't something that would slow us down. So we have no application to submit at this time. I believe currently there are no available licenses for a provisioning center in your ordinance. But I did want to bring this up because of the size of the deal. The pastor thought it'd be a good idea that I come and mention it and see if there'd be any openings for that project.
In regards to the water tower, if memory serves, the fire chief has deemed that a fire hazard, and I believe it needs to be torn down, so painting wouldn't be an option.
I was open to either,
Yeah,
but
no, I appreciate- I just want-
they told me painting, but I did dig in and I heard that removing it was probably what city council would recommend, which I'm willing to do. That's the area where we would like to build the location for the retail, for the provisioning center anyways.
And then I believe there's piping that runs from the tower over to those provisional center buildings that need to be addressed as well.
Sure, I've only
So
gotten
it's-
a standard quote to remove the tower, it was like 130 grand. I haven't gotten any detail of underground, but if I have to dig deeper, of course, that'll be inevitable. What needs to be taken care of, that is. So,
Okay.
This would be for a provisioning center that you wish to put?
we're looking to do a new construction build, pretty much where that water tower is to the right of it in the open land, for a provisioning center, as well as the current building that serves as the church. We're looking to convert that 53,000 square feet into cultivation and processing. The church is looking to get out of the location, it sounds like, because since COVID, their occupancy has been so low, and a lot of it's virtual, and they're looking to relocate. And I kind of connected with the broker in the deal, and then Pastor Chris, and we're kind of moving along, but obviously, everything is determined by city council, which is why I'm here, to even see if there's any opening for this type of project in the city. So,
I could speak to it just to put some dressing on it. As far as provisioning centers presently, we're all dressed out. There's 3. That could change, not likely. It doesn't appear that way. I've been here 11 years from the beginning. I sit on this board because I'm city manager, but, because I am a voting member, but I sit because I'm city manager. That means I kind of dabble in all of it and know a little bit of, there's nothing to prohibit anything you've said in terms of reconstruction, new construction. If you did do that, you would be taking it down. I think that Commissioner O'Rourke, he's heard some discussion of some of the other boards we serve on. The fire department declared it an unsafe structure. And the reason essentially it's an unsafe structure because it was built many years ago, not by the city, or it was built by an industry who needed water pressure, and they allowed that to be built. Well, when they abandoned that, essentially they abandoned the maintenance on it. It doesn't appear there's a public safety issue right now, even though it's structurally unsound because their rules on structure it's got to be usable and maintained. It's not being doing that. Sooner or later, it would be a public safety hazard, like an immediate hazard. Right now, it's a blight.
Sure.
It's ugly. They've painted it once or twice. They try to do that, and whitewash it. It doesn't come off. So what we have now, the complaints, not from the city so much as the residents. They're complaining. I'm sure even members of the church say, like, can't we do something? The issue will be you paint it one more year, 2 more years. If you're going to build and you fit within the description, and Mr. Wolfson has been dealing, I think he talked with some of the folks over there because he's led that discussion because it came up. So we're not opposed to that, anything, and certainly not opposed to construction. You'll still have to fit within, whatever you're building there. I don't know that it fits, and you'll know that with our consulting planner. And you may have already been in to talk to him, but the city is not actively trying to cut a deal to cut it down. We basically told the church they've got to pay attention to it, and there is a blight. But my fire department wants it tore down tomorrow because it's structurally unsound. It's not going to fall down anytime soon, but sooner or later it will. If you're going to build there, we like that. If you're going to put new construction in there, we like that. Everybody here likes that. But you're going to have to fit within the rules, and that means we need to see your plan. That means you got to talk to our consulting planner. You got to bring it in. And when that happens, we'll all sit with you and see what we can do. We'd like the water tower gone. But I appreciate you bringing it up. We're a little premature to talk about what you're doing.
Sure. One question, though. So I know that the ordinance has 3 licenses, and they're all taken up. Has there been talks of adding at least
Well, if you're talking about
provisioning centers?
Well, the answer to that is I don't deal in what anybody talks about. I deal in the votes, and the votes are, we got 3 provisioning centers until they change an ordinance, and that's not likely to happen in my view, but that's just an opinion. Those were set by ordinance. It's been 3 for the last 11 years. You probably know that the city was one of the first, if not the first, in Oakland County. We had, before they were provisioning centers, they were dispensaries, and we had those, and we've gone through that debate with the sheriff's office and whatever. Totally legal. We've bought in. We have some solid folks who the cannabis industry has improved our downtown, that contribute to the community. That's not an issue right now, but whether they're going to vote, that's a political decision, and they're the city council. There's a couple of them here. I'm not sure they're going to have that debate with you right now about whether they would do that. This is probably not the place for it.
Sure,
But
absolutely.
appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to make an application for any construction and get it in here. So, but provisioning centers, you're way ahead of the game in terms of whether we can tell you we're going to have another. I don't want you to leave here. That's why I'm talking. I don't want you to leave here thinking, well, we told you got a 4th provisioning center. That's.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
But
They just
if
told
you
me to
want-
try because it's a church and there's no taxable income to the city, even for a 50,000 square foot building. So they said they might entertain it. It's why I'm trying.
We understand that
You know.
we get no tax money from that. I, in particular, understand that. So new construction is very good. We support you in terms of doing that, but you got to be within the code, and you're just a little premature. We don't know what that is.
Absolutely.
If you're going to build something other than a provisioning center, I'll meet with you tomorrow, but a provisioning center, that's not likely to happen anytime in the near future.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sorry about that. Neil?
Yeah, there was kind of an echo, so I wasn't sure what the gentleman was saying about the church and the area where the water tower is. They want to do something, tear down the water tower and build some other buildings there. Is that what I'm hearing, or I'm not sure? Could you explain a little more?
Yes, that's correct. What they had mentioned is resolving the issue with the water tower either by painting or tearing it down. And we expressed that currently it's deemed an unsafe structure by the fire chief, and so the recommendation would be to tear it down. They were willing to take care of that. They also want to build a property or a structure there as a provisioning center.
Okay, well, by city ordinance, I don't think you could do a provisioning center there because it's too close to the grower.
Yeah, and Mr. Witt was
They only allow 3 in the city.
correct, and Mr. Witt explained that and then also expressed that that all has to be taken care of at a separate meeting than today.
Yeah. Okay, and I do have some pricing ideas and what's involved with that water tower. Did a little investigating before, and it's not that simple tearing it down. It's easy to tear it down, but what remains could be asbestos or lead paint, and that has to be remediated in a special way, and so it's kind of involved. It's really involved, but that's something for another discussion. Thank you very much. Any other audience participation there?
Anyone? No?
Nope. Okay. Okay, we'd like to close audience participation, go on to any communications,
No, sir. No communications.
okay? Did we have a public hearing on the site plan, is that it? No.
No public hearing tonight.
No public hearing, okay. Unfinished business?
None.
Okay. Run on to new business for PC 292 site plan. Mario here today, Mr. Ortega, could you present the proposal?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. The new business tonight is to hear the Planning Commission to consider a site plan for a building renovation. This is 139/141 East Walled Lake Drive. So it's the building located at the northwest corner of East Walled Lake Drive and Liberty Street and the city's downtown. The site is zoned C3, and the site is occupied by, the site itself is 4,500 square feet approximately, and is occupied by a two-story building with both floor areas totaling approximately 5,340 square feet. There are 2 apartment units on the second floor, and the first floor is 2 separate units for commercial leasable space. The applicant is proposing to renovate the building and establish a restaurant in the main floor. So when we look at the zoning ordinance to determine the appropriateness of the project, the use itself is permitted by right in our downtown, and in addition, the residential uses above the first floor are permitted as well. When you look at the building itself, in comparison to our dimensional requirements for setbacks and building height, that sort of dimensional standards, the building is either in compliance with our current standards or is currently legally nonconforming, meaning the building existed prior to our current standards, so therefore it can be utilized, it can be bought and sold, it can be renovated to a certain degree that doesn't increase that nonconformity. But as proposed, everything would be in compliance with our ordinance standards for dimensional requirements. So, for those not familiar with this building, it occupies the majority of the site, and in the front or along the north elevation is 3 steps that are located in front of it, and that's so that the public can walk along the sidewalk and then go up into the first floor elevation of the building. The applicant is proposing to remove those steps and also renovate and remove the existing front floor facade, and then create a new first floor facade that's actually recessed into the building footprint currently, approximately 7.5 feet. In addition, they would create basically a patio area, a covered porch area, extending out from the building southward along the north elevation, occupying the existing footprint of the stairs. So as proposed, the applicant would not be increasing the amount of area occupied by the stairs or the porch. And rather than having stairs along all 3 elevations in front of the building, the stairs would be centered into the front, along the East Walled Lake elevation. So there would be one location in which people could walk up the stairs, and then basically he's creating a front porch area 7.5 feet in front of the building wall and 7.5 feet into the building. So it'd be a very attractive, nice outdoor dining area. In addition, they're proposing various masonry materials, different, using brick for majority of the revised elevations. However, they are proposing the use of some cultured stone that's more like a field stone style, at least shown on the elevations. So as proposed, these renovations are in compliance with the standards of the zoning ordinance for our downtown. We have particular design standards. They require the use of high-quality materials, and as proposed, these materials are very high quality. The one thing we would say is that, and this is only a suggestion, the front facade of the building would, below the window wall, would be utilizing a field stone type of veneer. So I'm not sure if it complements well the more traditional Midwest style of the standard brick. It wouldn't be very visible from the street facade, from the street side, but it's just something to consider. Like a field stone isn't normally found along other of our buildings out there. Maybe something more of a stack stone or something to that effect. There's no requirement for that, but it's just possibly a discussion to have with the applicant if any of the commissioners feel that the field stone isn't in keeping with our design objectives we're trying to obtain in downtown. But as proposed, this renovation, it would be create a very attractive, very active area in the downtown. When we look at other things for a normal site plan with regards to landscaping, landscape plan has not been provided because the building occupies the majority of the site, leaving no room for landscaping. There is a street tree one tree along Walled Lake Drive, one tree along Liberty. The quality of the Walled Lake Drive tree has been called into question. So if the applicant were willing to remove that tree and replace it with a little more of a flowering tree or something to that effect, that might be more appropriate, just as an option. If they feel that tree is also blocking the front facade. And then also, the property boundaries include a gravel alley to the rear of the site. So that is actually owned by the applicant. Now, whether that needs to be paved or not, that'd be something that could be discussed possibly with the city engineer in terms of any improvements to the stormwater. Paving it might also facilitate making sure that no stormwater drains towards the building itself, so make sure nothing gets into the building. So that might be a discussion that could be held with regards to that. And the applicant is also proposing to include a ADA or barrier-free ramp along the rear facade in that alley, only about 5 feet off that rear elevation, in order to obtain that ADA-required access for individuals. And that's something that's in compliance with the standards. With regards to parking, we have certain requirements for the restaurant and the apartments. It totals about 20 parking spaces. There are no parking spaces on site itself, but our ordinance in the downtown does allow both parking within 300 feet and then off-street parking spaces to count towards the parking standard. Doing a count of those parking spaces that are on-street parking spaces within close proximity, within the 300-foot proximity of this building, there are over 62 on-street parking spaces within that 300-foot distance, walking distance. Given the fact that there are only 20 parking spaces appearing to be demanded by this use, and given the fact that the other uses in the downtown either have the opportunity to have their own private off-street parking, or the demand of those uses doesn't generate an excessive amount of parking above 62. For example, a lot of the existing uses along west of the building going towards Pontiac Trail, one's an office, one's, then you have the bakery, and then you have some other smaller retailers. And then the marijuana retailer in that block actually has their own parking spaces on their own private property. So
Meaning across the street, correct?
across the street, but also to the rear of it, or to the
rear,
north of
yes,
that building.
okay.
To the north of that marijuana retailer, that's their property.
Yep.
They do have parking there as well. So we do believe that based on the existing uses and based on the demand of this proposed use, that the Planning Commission should allow on-street parking to be used to meet the parking demands for this particular use. With regard to sidewalks, the proposed renovation, as I mentioned, is not going to increase the footprint of where the stairs are for the business. And so the proposed, and there's going to be there will be a 5-foot wide sidewalk still along the front of the building, along East Walled Lake Drive. So the proposed renovations are not going to negatively impact the pedestrian circulation. That we will still have a free flow of pedestrians in our downtown around there. One other aspect it's a question for the applicant at the appropriate time, would be how the trash removal will be handled. Currently, there's not proposed a dumpster for this site. Within the city, commercial property owners have to contract for their own trash removal, so it might be a possibility for them to utilize wheeled hand carts that are stored in the building for their use. But it would be imperative to know that they have, that they will address trash removal, because the alley could have the potential to be negatively impacted by gathering trash and other things that alleys in the past used to have issues with. So we want to make sure that the applicant addresses that trash removal question. And then another question finally is about the lighting. There's no lighting revisions proposed on the building. The city standards require all lighting to be shielded and directed downward. And so if the applicant wanted to utilize any type of lighting, it would just have to comply with that standard, or it would have to be of a minimal light intensity. The lumens of the light fixtures, if they wanted to be architectural style, those can be appropriate as long as they're below, I believe, 350 lumens is usually a good standard to allow for minimal light pollution, but allow for detailed architectural improvements to the site base for the lighting. So in the end, this is a very attractive renovation. It's something that we've been looking for in the downtown. Majority of it is in compliance with the city standards, so we would recommend approval of the site plan, just contingent on applicant providing some additional information with regards to the trash removal, the lighting, and then if the planning commission had any recommendations for any kind of renovations to the streetscape. So with that, I will take any questions at the appropriate time.
I think
Thank you.
we need to hear from the applicant.
Yeah,
And
the applicant.
I know, I have insight on some of that because I've dealt with that property before they purchased it. And then, of course, I can tell you, some of you already know that, I personally have cleaned up the garbage that were left in the alley, and anything we approve, we'll make sure that doesn't ever happen again. But it wasn't you, but they pretty much abused that before. I'm not sure it was the owners, but people were there. And that's been really one of the issues downtown. I think it's an attractive thing, but I think you need to talk to the whole board. I have a little more insight than that because I'm also getting all this stuff from the past, the history. I also know you have to coordinate with the people next to you. I don't know who all you've met down there, but it's an attractive project for administration. And so you need to answer the questions they got. And then I'll add what I need, but I think it is attractive. So.
Over to you.
Podium?
Sure, why not?
So our biggest problem, I think, right now is to talk about garbage. So Jimmy here is also my partner. We bought the ice cream shop, which used to be Mr. Sierra's father. God rest his soul, he lost his mother and father in the last 6 months. Sorry to hear about that. But we bought their building and the lot across the street. So that was the old Turtle's Ice Cream. So the garbage, we're probably going to put the dumpsters on that lot, get a bigger dumpster for that building also to handle all the garbage. We will not be using the alley at all for garbage. So you can walk right across the street, be done, cart it, and we actually have additional parking over there. So that covers a lot of what we have to worry about. And the overall thing is I just hired Mario as my consultant. I mean, he's doing a great job for me. I mean, the overall, he said everything I said. I mean, I believe we're going to bring a good downtown area. We're going to give it a place, a destination where people can walk around, enjoy it, have a drink, have dinner, and bring something to Walled Lake. And then with the other building that we also own, the Turtle's Ice Cream, we're going to strip that down, take off all the drive it, redo that, turn it into some commercial over there, and whatever you allow us to do, we're going to do there also. Just make it a beautiful place where people come and enjoy themselves.
Okay.
And that's,
One of
yeah.
the questions I would have was,
Any
the
council
alley,
members have any
or
questions?
the place behind your property,
Mr.
would it be
Rose?
possible to keep that open for fire protection also?
So what I talked to Mario actually about, I don't know if he recalls this, we talked about actually taking it and cleaning it up completely, get all the meters off it, clean up the wires, clean up everything back there, and actually putting pavers and keep it a pervious surface where it actually take the water also. And maybe if we could get it through council, do an outdoor bar patio area also and keep it clean, and during non-business hours, move the tables back And so then, for fire safety, they can get back there if there's any fire, any problems, and make that a beautiful area. Maybe put a grate over the top, like, kind of like iron rods, kind of like the alley bar or the alley, say, so the name we came up with for the tavern is going to be called Walled Lake Tavern. So we want to represent Walled Lake. When people say, where are we going? We're going to Walled Lake Tavern. It's a, nice area. So that alley area, I want to be part of Walled Lake Tavern. So if we have some overspill of people, we could put them there. We have the parking cross street, and we're looking at purchasing actually what's it called? Hank's Bistro. We're talking to them. We're in some talks about getting there for more parking. And Frank, the guy that owns a lot, the green spot, because I don't think he could do anything with that little spot where he has the little flagpole. I don't think he could do zero with that. And we're willing to actually give him somewhat what he's asking for. We had a deal at one time, but it kind of fell apart. But I think when he sees what the city council and what you want out of it, he's really got not too much choice to either sell, or he's got a piece of land that he's going to cut the grass on, which we're not trying to do that to him. We'll give him a respectable amount for it, so we could actually make this Walled Lake downtown area very respectable, beautiful, make it where people want to come. We're looking at redoing the sidewalks. As far as Mario asked about the tree out front, hey, we're there to do whatever you want. And the cobblestone on the building, that was just a generic for the print. We're looking for stacked stone. We don't want cobblestone either. We want to make it look beautiful, make it all blend together, and anything you have to add, we'll go with. So I mean, the great minds work together. Let's do it. Any other questions?
Yeah, so just in regards to the parking, because we already have big problems with parking downtown, and a lot of people are using the vacant lot that's in between the house and I think it's your building, actually, or the other one you own. So the back of the ice cream lot, the back of that building, is that all going to be dedicated to parking, or would there be plans to build on that?
No, all parking. That's why I was saying. Also, we're looking at trying to get the other lot, the green lot there.
Yep.
I've talked to Frank a couple of times
Right.
on this, and hopefully we can come to a settlement here, because I really don't think he has anything to go with this.
Correct.
And that was my first proposal for the parking there. Then from Mr. Sierra, Danny, his father, I bought the lot behind it. So the ice cream shop has the building, has its own lot. There's a second parcel behind it that I also purchased, that I put that, so in case, as Mario said, within 300 feet, I could park probably 20 cars back there.
And your plan is to keep that as a parking spot?
All,
or
yeah,
parking
complete
area, never
parking,
to
yeah.
build? Okay.
And if we could, we're looking at maybe paving, putting catch basins, we really wanted to sharpen this place up. We want to give you guys a beautiful downtown where people want to come. I mean, we're investing probably within the whole project from both buildings, probably $3 million when we're done, said and done. It's not going to be a cheap concept, So we're going to try to talk to everybody from the guy that owns the greenhouse to, we might even, I made Liz an offer on her place, because I was looking at putting a nice coffee shop in there, different things, and we are hurting on parking. So if we have to lease more parking, or if we can make a sale, the problem is there's not a lot for sale around there. So we've made offers even on, what was the other, the one back there, the building that was, what was that? It's behind,
The little red building?
no, behind the bistro. There's another building back there. We actually made them an offer, talked about that too. But they want, we only got so much money we want to deal with here, but we're really trying to bring a good downtown feel to it, where people want to come here, and you just don't have Bayside, which hopefully they up their game a little bit when we up our game a little bit. So we're trying to get everybody to get in the same ballpark here.
And then for the apartments, then, the apartments will utilize just public parking then, correct?
The apartments, the public parking right now, but we would like to actually, like we say, if we could get Frank's piece there, we maybe dedicate 2 spots in that area, and maybe have an outdoor patio dining area. So our problem, what we're doing with the building that we also have, the Turtles building, we're thinking about, it's a long building, dividing it into either 3 strip malls, or three shops, do 2 different restaurant bars in there, and we talked to Kilwin's Ice Cream. We're trying to make it very attractive, so when people come, they could bounce from place to place to place. If it's too full here, we go there. Italian, seafood, this, that. We're open to all options. We just want to make it very attractive for this downtown area, what we could do.
And then that little that grass parcel, is that zoned for parking? Is that okay to?
Parking.
That's the grass area that sits between the ice cream parlor?
That belongs to a gentleman named Frank Chris.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, and we've
And
talked, but is that zoned?
Frank owned the property, I guess it's his family. Since I've been here, I've been manager for 11 years, and
Okay.
nothing's ever happened. You're right, it's not buildable in that shape, essentially a placeholder. It's an investment that he's got. My guess is he's paid a couple of bucks in taxes every year.
He's killing himself on it, yeah.
So he's sitting on it. At some point, it becomes, a loss. If it's not buildable, it kind of reminds me of the stuff you hear about Atlantic City with a little house and sitting in the big buildings on the other side of it. If you make him a reasonable officer, it's been for sale ever since I've been here. And
He was asking 155. We actually, I could talk about it. We offered him 135. We had the deal on the table.
Well, I won't get into the
Yeah.
discussion with that part. I just know that it's for sale. Everything down there is for sale. It's just about how much money you're willing to spend.
Right.
So if you want to help Frank make a decision.
I'm trying to push him a little bit.
I don't know him that well, but I met him, and he actually ran for council and stuff like that. So, but he's owned that property there, and it's his, and he owns it, and it's actually, that's a smart move.
He wants to have a picnic out there, that's up to
It's a
him.
smaller real estate move, but, downtown needs it if they're going to do what you want to do.
Right.
I'm encouraged. I still want the other council members to hear this, or some here, the city council members, and the planning commission members to talk about it, and then maybe I'll add to it. But as administrator, we're excited to hear these stories. I think that we may be able to help you out in terms of where you're going. Some of it's good, some of it's a little off. You've taken a big bite. That's a big bite.
Hey.
Maybe you've got some experience. You look like a young man, but that's a big bite, what you're talking about. But we're all in if you think you can do that. We will meet with you. I will set up meetings, but you need to meet with everybody down there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about from all ends of the block and even on the other side. Because if you really want to build up downtown, we'll be there with you. But you got to include everybody.
Oh, I'm 100% there with everybody. I will deal with them all, and I'll be happy, because I think it takes a full community to make it happen. Everybody, as Jennifer told me earlier, everybody's got to play good in the sandbox. We all got to get together, and we got to have fun. And that's the truth.
I like what you say, but I still want to hear from, he's a commissioner, but he's a city council member too. And then my commissioners up here, my partners on the planning commission, they need to ask it. I'm familiar with that more than I ought to be. I know that parcel where the land is, that's actually 3 lots. It looks like you've purchased the plots closer to so that where the yogurt place was, or the hookah lounge, or whatever they call it now, it's actually broken into 3 parcels. And then Frank Christopher's parcel's beside it. So like in that little square, there's 4 parcels.
Correct.
So you bought the 3rd one, which doesn't add a lot of parking. But I think if you partner up with people downtown, you can solve your parking problems if they exist afterwards.
Correct, I believe so also, because they're different.
I believe you can do that.
As Mario, in his, what he sent me also, he said, it's different operation times too. So certain people are going to do certain things for parking during the day versus us at night, so we can make it all work together.
Neighbors down there, you can do this, but you got to get votes to the planning commission. So we need to hear from them, and then we'll talk some more. But I think that.
But overall, if we did get that parcel, we'd probably want to do something maybe in the front with an outdoor patio, maybe for the first 15 or 20 feet. Then the rest, I don't know if it'd even be possible. Maybe do a cut through and put actually a curb cut and put a drive. I don't know if you can do that.
Administration will work with you. We have big plans for downtown. We got some summer work coming to redo downtown. City Council's been trying to get it done for years. The DDA's been trying to get it done for years. We'd like to fix it all, but there's a tremendous cost involved. When you touch those sidewalks down there, you've bought into ADA. We haven't,
Right.
So, and if you're willing to help fund that, then we're going to
For sure.
listen to you. and
We
we're
really
gonna
do. We
work
want to
with
make
you.
it work.
We're going to work with you. I
right.
believe that everybody will. So,
We don't have much landscaping down there, but what we do have, we'd love to invest in that and make that look right. The better we make it look, the more beautiful, the more traffic we get for our businesses also. We don't want
not
to,
the nasty alley.
we'll do it all. That will look like gold when I'm done.
Let's let the other council members and commissioners talk. I want to hear from Neil. I want to hear from all of everybody who.
Okay.
John?
Any other commissioners have any questions? I've got a question. The parking downtown, I don't know if you've been here during the summer, but with the tiki bar and the beach, almost every parking spot is taken. It's a big problem. And I don't know if it's going to be a viable getting enough people to be able to come down, to come to your restaurant. Because I see what it's like during the summer with the beach and with the tiki bar and all the activities that go on down there. And you're saying, it was hard with the echo on some of the other areas, like the ice cream parlor, you bought that area. And then you're looking at the area across from that new house off Witherall. Are you looking at purchasing part of that too? Is that what I heard? I'm not sure.
No, that part wasn't included in the conversation.
Okay.
He actually owns the property behind the ice cream parlor, which is a parking spot now. That's where he was talking about parking and putting the dumpsters for the restaurant.
Okay, I like the concept, what you're doing. I like what's happening. And it's been sorely needed downtown here, or if you want to call this a downtown area or an old town area, whatever. But I like the layout of what you've done. And I guess the ordinance will allow us to approve it with the extra parking that is around the area, but that gets used up by who's ever down there, by the beach and by the tiki bar. When they have a band outside, and it's packed. The whole place is packed. So I'd like to get a little more input and see how the other commissioners feel.
Well,
We haven't heard from
this is
McComas.
Ron.
Uh-huh.
First of all, I heard some very fast talking, in the sense that I thought I was listening to a car salesman, frankly, and I'm concerned about that. We got to have more than a concept, and I'd be real interested to understand where he's getting all his money, backing him for all these purchases. Does he really have the wherewithal?
He's got a construction background.
Are you asking me? Well, we paid cash for the building, so that's done. I own over 40 houses. I'm a landlord. I'm 56 years old. I've been in real estate my whole life and construction. So, my finances are I have the money. That's not the problem. I don't know where you're going with that.
Would a bond be required for any of this?
I'm not sure, what did he say?
Would a bond be required for any of
No,
this?
normal construction bond, I think Mr. McComas got the question that everybody would want to know, no disrespect.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm listening, I wouldn't have asked that question quite that way, because I've already looked at the property transfer affidavit, so I'm not sure where he got the money, but he spent some money already. And I didn't know the answer there until you gave it. I'm glad you did, because that probably dealt with a lot of people's curiosity. You've been in real estate, all of that. Yes, I'm the one that said out loud it's a big bite. That's what I meant. That's what Mr. McComas is right. It's a big bite, and everybody in the room, whether they ask the question or not, are going like, where's the money coming from? Maybe we're not allowed to ask you that, but you told us, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm willing to listen right up until I figure you can't do it. He's not buying anything from us. We won't be investing in him until he's shown, I've done $60 million deals. That's my history. That's as big as anything that's ever going to happen in Wall Lake, $60 million. And that was in Miami, Florida. So I've been around. If he's not, with all due respect, if he's not legit, I'm going to tell you pretty quick. I never met him until today. You do talk fast.
Yeah, I also own a home.
You own a home, yeah.
5 houses on Walled Lake. He's my partner also.
I know
We
that
own
you
we
bought
own homes right on the
A friend of
Walled
mine's
Lake.
house, you bought
Yeah.
Mr. Burke's house.
Yes, correct.
So we're aware of that. I've been monitoring your activity simply because that's my job.
And I paid cash for that house too.
We don't have to get into that. I think he has a legitimate concern, and that's my job to be mindful of it. If we get to the point where we don't think it, then we're going to call you out again. I'm glad he asked.
Well, money's not going to be the issue on the deal. That's not
I'm
the
glad he
problem.
asked the question because you answered it. I'm glad you answered it.
All right.
It may set some of its arrest. You're making a big bite, so it's a
Yeah, well, I'm
legitimate-
putting a big investment in Walled Lake. That's why I want the city to work with me. I'm not coming down here and, financing a ton of money and going to fail. I'm putting what I believe into this city to make it a very destination town where people want to come enjoy themselves. You're going to have people walking around enjoying themselves, not just going to the party store and buying weed. You're going to have a good time down here. They're going to walk around ice cream shops. We've talked to Kilwins. We've talked to actually Dunkin' Donuts. We've talked to a lot of different people on what we want to put down here. Depending on what we're going to do with the other building, split into 3 parcels or 2 parcels, but we want to keep it going because this is our money, and we want to make sure we make money also, but also that it's attractive to the city.
It looks like publicly we can identify you spent over $500,000 already.
Oh, more than that,
Well,
between both buildings.
I didn't chase you, but yeah, I know a little bit about, I'm an ex-cop, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. You could check my background.
So I will.
There you go.
And that should make Mr. McComas feel a little better.
I hope so.
I promise you I will.
I mean, as of right now, I mean, the downtown area doesn't have much going on. You got a party store, and you got a weed shop, and you got Bayside.
We like
I think
to call
you
it
got.
a provisioning center.
Right, but we have 4 other buildings right now that have 0 parking, and it's going to stay that way forever unless guys like me and him step in, and we're willing to invest and take a chance. And we're willing to take a chance with you guys if you'll let us, and I think we can really make it a nice downtown area and make it happen.
The parking is not an issue for administration. We believe that you can cut a deal with whatever needs to be done. I believe, you know, I've been in a city where parking's a problem. I've told this story before. I'll tell it to you. When people complaining about somebody coming in, parking's a problem, and I walked them outside, the businessmen who were saying we don't want that, and I showed them what a parking problem really is. It's when nobody's parking there.
Right, exactly right.
And so if we flood downtown, okay, we'll find another way. But yes, we're going to entertain this. If the board, the commission votes tonight, we're going to give you the shot. But Mr. Comas is dead on. We're going to take a look.
But you know what, I also believe like the parking problem, a lot of it during the weekends, as he was talking about, I believe there's a lot of people going to the beach that are not actually spending money down there. They're just taking up parking spots. Not that that's not a bad thing. They're enjoying their life and going to the beach. But if we're going to have a downtown area, we have to, you know, they're going to have to fight for the parking down a little bit for the guys who want to go to restaurants and spend money and pay tax dollars down there. So, I mean, a lot of times, like that one parking, the one vacant lot over there where I think you guys got proposed condos or something over there, I mean, that gets packed full of beach people, just packed all day long in there. And, you know, it's for the beach. And where they're coming from.
By the way.
I'm sorry?
That's for sale too.
That's for, well, we talked about, I thought that, maybe I'll look into it. I didn't know that was for sale. I thought it was bought.
No, it's not bought yet.
It's back on the market. What are they asking for it?
Everything's always, we're not
But also-
selling it.
Yeah,
All
but I
right.
think the bigger picture on
I
that,
actually thought it was, I thought they were actually putting,
If you're wanting to talk to him, I can do that.
oh, well, I'll look at the sign. I'll make a phone call.
Let's see if there's any more questions. Again, I like what he asked you. I'm sorry if it.
No, that's fine. No,
I
100%.
think everybody here wanted to know that. I sat with my staff and I'm going, this man, whoever he is, has spent a whole lot of money in Wall Lake, and you're doing that for a reason.
I just see a vision down here. I really do. Like, right now, I live in downtown Plymouth. I remember Plymouth in 2001 when they had nothing. The Penn Grill was garbage. I mean, people were not coming there. It was a hangout in Livonia still. All of a sudden, somebody put a little bit of money down there. Billy Farwell actually bought down there. And actually, Gordy Wilson, who lives on Walled Lake, bought down there. And then the Post Bar came in, and they just started making a downtown area. And it just took off. I see the same thing here in Walled Lake. I see all the smaller little houses getting torn down and bigger houses going up. The money's coming out here. I mean, you're next to Novi. You're in a beautiful area out here. It's gorgeous out here. What do you have out here that no one else has? You have a lake. We're going to be busy in the wintertime and the summertime. Most bar districts or restaurant districts, they die in the summertime because people go up north. People that can't afford to go up north, this will make this, just as this gentleman was saying also, in the summer it's packed. How can I not see the vision down here? I think it's a great investment, great idea, and I want to bring something to the city and make it beautiful and make it happen.
Slow you down. I think, I want other people to talk. You got my vote. I'm going to.
Thank you.
Because I'm going to be also the guy that's going to deal with it. And I will go out of my way to see if this is a success, but also go out of my way to answer their questions about how this is. So we don't need to go any further. I want all the council. I'm ready to vote right now because I'm ready to move forward. I've been here 11 years, and one of the objectives from the beginning was develop downtown. You only do that by investing, and so I'm ready to move ahead. I'll say out loud right now, I don't hear much more, but you haven't got the final say. you're going to have to fix a whole lot down there. Even if you got money, you're going to have to fix.
I appreciate it. No, I'm willing to
You
invest.
got my support as a voting member, but also as manager. I will go out of my way to work a deal, I want you to meet the people down there, whatever you think you need to do to cut deals. Parking's an issue, but I believe you can deal with it. The ADA stuff, all of that stuff you can deal with. I'm ready to at least meet with you and get that going. And you need to meet with everybody else down there, Kevin, already, and cut the deal.
Yeah,
And if you
Chairman
can-
Walsh, I got a quick question. What kind of restaurant did you say you were going to do in here?
Right now, we're looking at Italian theme, restaurant, bar, outdoor seating on the patio,
Okay.
basically, yeah.
I don't see any ordinance that prohibits what you're trying to do. I seem to see the site plan meets the qualifications, so at this point, unless any other commissioners have any other questions?
Does our city attorney have any feedback on the proposal that's put up tonight? Mr. Venerian?
Me.
Yeah, do you just have any questions or opinions or comments for tonight's proposal?
Well, no, I don't. There are no major legal issues that are jumping out at me. I think it's more of a planning decision that you need to make tonight. Do keep in mind that the planning consultant has made a few recommendations as it relates to if you were to approve it, to make sure that any approval would be conditional upon them addressing the issues identified by the planning consultant, that being the dumpster and any parking issues as well. The use is a permitted principal use, so you're not being asked to approve the use itself. The scope of your approval is just limited to the site and the improvements to the site, and whether or not those proposed improvements comply with the requirements of the city's ordinances.
Okay, great.
Okay,
On that note, I'd like to go ahead and
Thank
make a
you.
motion.
yeah,
In regards to PC 292, site plan for address 139 and 141 East Wall Lake Drive with applicant Michael P., if that's okay. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve this plan, conditional upon the recommendations by Mr. McKenna, or not Mr. McKenna, but McKenna, excuse me, regarding the dumpster signage, lighting, and considerations or proposals around parking.
I would add that
I hear a
also the
second.
provisions that the building official came up with as far as the fire safety for the apartments above.
Okay.
He recommended all kinds of fire safety equipment up there.
improvement.
And that would include the fire marshal and the City of Walled Lake's approval for fire safety for the apartments and for the structure in the alley in the back way. Do you have that?
Yep.
I hear-
I mean, I had something from the fire department, they did give me some recommendations,
Yeah.
but no.
That's
I
all
mean, we
part-
got to make it safe, yeah, for sure.
So that'd be the recommendation to us, approve it with those conditions that were just proposed.
Who seconded it?
And then I will second it.
Neil, we got a second. We need just a little bit more discussion.
Get a roll call vote, please?
No, Neil, let's have
Yeah.
a little bit more discussion before you call a roll.
Oh, okay. Any
Yeah,
other?
what I want to do is say out loud, you've bought the problems down there, which is several code issues.
Stan?
I know you didn't create it, but if you want my continued support, you clean it up now. You don't wait till you're breaking ground, and that would be the alley. I didn't joke when I said I actually cleaned up garbage, backhoe loading it up, because those people there didn't do it. It was really nasty, it was unsanitary, and it was embarrassing for me as manager. And so me and the Public Works Director did that. I need that cleaned up, or I'm going to cite people. If they haven't already cited you, they were instructed to do that without me even knowing you had purchased it. We're not going to go another summer with the nasty stuff. So if you're going to keep renting it until you start, you need to clean up that alley. You call it an alley, it looks like you actually legally own it, but it's also an easement. So the argument that some people are going to have down there is that's not your alley, it's an alley. It's actually an easement. I think it's.
I'll work with the tenants down there, the building owners, I have no problem with that.
Clean it up, get
Yep.
along with your neighbors there.
I agree.
And you'll have my support as administrator, and I'm ready to vote now.
Okay,
Is everybody clear on the proposal? Do we want to repeat that? Do we need that repeated, or is the commission ready to vote?
yes, please,
You like it repeated?
please.
Okay. So the proposal is for PC 292 site plan, address 139 and 141 East Walled Lake Drive. The applicant is Michael P. We'd like to go ahead and approve this plan as it's submitted, conditional upon the recommendations by McKenna, specifically around dumpster, signage, and lighting, parking, fire safety for the apartments upstairs, and then also upon occupancy of the building, going ahead and cleaning up the alley in the back and starting to work on that part of the project.
Very good.
And so we need a second on that.
Okay.
I did
We have a
second
second,
it.
I
Yep,
believe?
so it's second.
Ms. Jakeway, you got that? Okay.
We have a
Novak?
second?
Okay, wrong. Novak, O'Rourke,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Palmer, Witt,
Yes.
Wolfson,
Yes,
McComas.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we will do a good job down there. We'll work with everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. It looks great.
Okay, go on to commissioner comments.
Thank you. We really will do a good job down there. Help us out with us and we'll get it all together. Thank you.
In the meantime, I suggest you should meet with everybody down there if you want my support.
Yeah.
Because the way I see it, these contractors means you might really be doing what
Yeah, we want to do that. The biggest thing, I guess, he said that we talk fast, but on paper, that's why I move quick. But what we really want after that, we want to get that next building, we want to get a lot of things going on, particularly in football. We've got to get some more projects.
Is there something we should be listening to? I can't hear.
Ken, what's going?
Mr. Witt, yeah. We need to wrap up the meeting, please.
No commissioner comments?
Meet your neighbors down there, make nice
Okay.
parking issue, clean up the property.
Sounds good. We'll do
I have something real quick, just to wish everybody a very happy and healthy new year.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Wilson. Appreciate that, and right back, yeah, exactly, right back at you.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll second. O'Rourke, second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Nobody. Okay. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you. Michael, thank you for coming.